Hello, Professor Race here. Let's talk commas. Comma often marks a slight pause or break in a sentence, and more mistakes are made by overusing commas than by underusing them. So a good rule of thumb, if you do not have access to a handy grammar book, when in doubt, leave them out. So if you cannot find or remember a specific rule that states you need a comma in a particular spot, just choose not to insert a comma in that spot. There are 6 main uses of the comma, and they are to separate items in a series, set off introductory material, use on both sides of words that interrupt the flow of thought in a sentence, between two complete thoughts connected by coordinating conjunctions or fanboys words, to set off a direct quotation, and for certain everyday materials such as dates and addresses. And we will look at each one of these instances. First of all, we use commas between items in a series or for lists. The family reunion included many aunts, uncles, nieces, and nephews from Pennsylvania. Notice the use of a comma after each one of the items in the series, as well as a final comma before the and. This final comma before the and is also referred to as the Oxford comma, and I recommend using it for clarity. I need paper, comma, pens, comma, and a flash drive. And finally, we do use a comma between two descriptive words or two adjectives if you can insert and or but between the two descriptive words. So we have Joe looked at the hot smoking engine. We do want to put a comma between hot and smoking, these two descriptive words, because we can insert the word and between the two of them. The second main use of a comma is to be placed after an introductory word or phrase. In this example, unfortunately, is an introductory word, and we place a comma after it to set it off from the rest of the sentence. And you can see that actually this word, unfortunately, could be left off of the beginning of the sentence, and it would not change the meaning. A comma should also be used after an introductory phrase. Here, after the announcement, comma, we feel a slight pause there, and then followed by the main part of the sentence, the students' faces brightened again. This introductory phrase could be left off the beginning of the sentence without changing the meaning of the sentence. A third main use of commas is around words that interrupt the flow of thought in a sentence. So here is an example. Jeremy, comma, my best friend in elementary school, comma, is now a successful lawyer. These words, my best friend in elementary school, interrupt the flow of thought in the sentence, and they are non-essential, meaning we could leave them out of the sentence without changing the meaning of the sentence. We could say Jeremy is now a successful lawyer. Do we have to know that he was my best friend in elementary school? No, we don't. So commas are placed around this phrase. And that's a good rule of thumb. If you could leave a word or group of words out of a sentence without changing the meaning of the sentence, then that means that commas are appropriate. If you're not sure if words are interrupters, whether they're essential to the meaning of the sentence or not, try just removing them from the sentence. And if it still makes sense, you know the words are interrupters and need commas around them. Take a look at this example. The woman who goes to yoga class with me was in a serious accident. Now, this section right here, who goes to yoga class with me, if we try to leave that out, we have the woman was in a serious accident, and the problem is we do not know which woman is being referred to. So that information is essential to the meaning of the sentence. It is not an interruption to the sentence. So we do not want to put commas around this statement here. Otherwise, the reader doesn't know which woman was hurt. A fourth main use of commas is between two complete thoughts that are connected by coordinating conjunctions. There are 7, coordinating conjunctions: for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. We often refer to them as the fanboys words, and we use them to combine two complete thoughts or two independent clauses. When we do that, we use a comma before the fanboys word or the coordinating conjunction. So the day was productive and full of energetic people, comma, but Sherry was ready to go home. So the day was productive and full of energetic people is one complete thought. Sherry was ready to go home is another complete thought. We are combining those two independent clauses with a comma and the coordinating conjunction but, and so that therefore there is the need of the comma there. The comma can be optional when the two complete thoughts are short, but it is always correct, and so I like to err on the side of caution even for short combinations of complete thoughts, such as the water was refreshing, comma, and he drank it quickly. Be careful though, just because you see an and or a but, for example, does not mean it automatically always needs a comma in front of it. Here is an example. Be careful not to use a comma between two verbs that belong to one subject. In this sentence here, we have the kitten stared at the string and pounced with enthusiasm. We have an and in this sentence. This and is not joining two complete thoughts. Instead, it is joining two verbs. So they both belong to the subject kitten. So the kitten stared and the kitten pounced. So when we have this and joining these two verbs here, we do not need to place a comma there between those two verbs. A fifth main use of commas is with direct quotations. We want to use a comma to set off direct quotations from the rest of the sentence. The students complained, comma, and here's the quote. Reading about these boys in the Civil War is very depressing. Here's another example of a divided quote. We can't see into the future, comma, quote, said the president, and then another comma here, but we have to prepare for it nonetheless. Notice that this comma here and this comma here separate the said the president part from the direct quote. And finally, our catch-all category, we use commas with some everyday material such as names, dates, and addresses. So here is a list of those situations. We use a comma to set off the name or title of a person who is being directly addressed. So here's an example. If you don't stop that, Carly Ray, you are going to be in trouble. Carly Ray is being directly addressed by name, and so her name is set off with a comma before and a comma after. We also use commas with full dates that include the month, day, and year. So May 30th, comma, 2011, comma, is my wedding date. Use commas with addresses. So here's the street address, 1444 Lyndhurst Way, comma here. Here's the city, comma. Here is the state. Notice there is no comma though between the state and the zip code. We use a comma after salutations and closings in letters. For example, Dear Santa, Forever Yours, comma. We also use commas in numbers to indicate when we have hit, for example, 1,000 or 1,000,000. And so every three digits, we place a comma. And that's it. Hope that's helpful to you.